آج 2 منٹ کے لیے مولانا عرفان چشتی سے گزارش کروں گا، بالکل مختصر، چونکہ ہم چاہتے ہیں کہ نماز سے پہلے یہ تمام ختم ہو جائے، کچھ لوگ چلے جائیں پھر مساجد میں، کچھ بہت تنگی ہو جائے گی، پھر پریشانی ہو جائے گی. 2 منٹ کچھ تاثرات پیش کر رہے ہیں، 1 سیکنڈ. اس کے بعد پھر ہمارے مولانا کوثر صاحب سارے دعائیں کریں گے، اور اس میں خاص طریقے سے حضرات گرامی دل و جان سے آپ سے گزارش ہے، ہماری عرفان سلمہ کی والدہ محترمہ بیمار چل رہی ہیں. کل بھی میں نے دعا کرایا تھا، اور ان کی بڑی شفقتیں، ان کی بڑی محبت، اسی سے اندازہ لگا لیجئے کہ تمام بچے ماں کے کہنے میں، حضرت مفتی صاحب قبلہ علی رحمہ کے کہنے میں، سب اپنے اپنے راہوں پر گامزن ہیں، کامیاب ہیں. دین کا رشتہ ہے، محبت کا رشتہ ہے، یہ بہت بڑی والدین کے لیے دعاؤں کا اثر ہے. تو ان کے لیے بھی دعا کرنا ہے، مفتی صاحب کے لیے بھی اشارے ثواب کرنا ہے، مولانا کوثر صاحب اس کو یاد رکھیں گے، سب کے لیے دعا کرائیں گے. اس کے علاوہ اور بھی بہت سے ہیں، لیکن آپ بتائیے، میں بعد میں
الحمدللہ رب العالمین، والصلاة والسلام على سید المرسلین، اما بعد. قال النبی علیہ الصلاة والسلام: رأس العقل بعد الإيمان بالله التودد إلى الناس. صدق رسوله النبي الكريم. My most honorable and beloved, most respectful erudite scholar, Hazrat Allama Qari Muhammad Ismail Misbahi Sahab, and our chief guest for this evening. میں حضرت کو جب بھی یہ پروگرام کی ترتیب ہوتی ہے تو ذمہ داری لگاتے ہیں صاحب محبت کے موضوعات، تو پھر یہ جو پورا پروگرام طے کرنا ہے، پھر جناب ارشد امجد بھائی وغیرہ کے ساتھ مل کر اشتہار بناتے ہیں حضرت. تو اردو دان، کیونکہ یہ ماہر اردو زبان ہے، اردو سینٹر میں ہے، تو میں ہمیشہ قبلہ کو پیش کرتا ہوں کہ یہ موضوعات ہم نے انگلش میں لکھے ہیں، اس کی تھوڑی سی آپ نے اردو. تو آج کا جو موضوع تھا، اصل اس کا تھا our noble Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa alihi wasallam and his emotional intelligence. Emotional intelligence, those amongst you who are working in professional lives will know that this is a somewhat new phenomena in leadership qualities. We've all heard of IQ, which is the measure of a person's intelligence. What's your IQ level? If you're very, very intelligent, you'll have a high IQ level. If you're like me and you've got a very low intelligence level, you'll have a low IQ level. And that was the general kind of understanding of the meyar of intelligence, IQ. But recently, for the past 20, 30 years or so, we've been hearing of a different kind of intelligence. And that intelligence today, our most honorable scholar, Qibla Sayyid Abul Hassan Sahab, mashallah, you know, if anyone could ever speak on this topic, and such a difficult topic, jab maine Hazrat ko pesh kiya, فرمانے لگی یہ کون کیسا موضوع آپ نے چن لیا، بڑے مشکل الفاظ ہیں، بڑے مشکل موضوع ہیں. الحمدللہ آپ نے آج حق ادا کر دیا. And honestly, listening to him, I was thinking before I came out, I was hoping that I'd get away with not having to speak today, because he's given an order. And I came across a hadith looking at this aspect of the emotional intelligence of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. So very briefly, Hadith has explained it already in very much detail, but just for those of you who perhaps still are a little bit unclear, there is a certain level of intelligence that the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam had, and this hadith that I have in front of me explains it very beautifully. He was the expert in dealing with people and understanding people's emotions. People never needed to speak in front of him. In his presence, he alayhi salatu wasalam would understand straight away कि इसके अंदर क्या कुछ बोल रहा है. Qibla Pir Nasiruddin Nasir alayhi rahma. I remember one of his beautiful sentences. He used to say there's a type of boli, there's a type of khamoshi, there's a type of silence that speaks volumes. And that is the silence of the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. In his presence, people would come and he would know straight away what they were after. He would know immediately that there's something inside this person, and he would be able to feed that person's need without that person even speaking. And there are numerous examples. Time does not permit me, but I want to leave you today with this beautiful hadith of the Prophet alayhi salatu wasalam. IQ and EQ, you can search it up in your own time. Now people are saying and have acknowledged that the level of intelligence that especially leaders need to have is not just the IQ intelligence level of being able to do sums and maths and science and figuring out things strategically. No, they are now saying that the higher level of intelligence is the ability to understand the emotions of others around you. And that's what Hazrat's speech was all about today. Mahir Nafsiyat, we translated that emotional intelligence into Mahir Nafsiyat, which is an expert in a person's psychology, an expert in a person's understanding and his needs of his emotions. That's how the Prophet ﷺ was. And so remember what I said before, that now people are acknowledging that the highest level of intelligence is not IQ, is not maths and science, but the higher level of intelligence is the ability to understand the emotions of people. What do they call that? In modern day language, in leadership language, they call it emotional intelligence. Listen to this hadith of the Prophet alayhi salatu wasalam. Ra'sul aql. He's actually starting with the same phrase. Highest form of intelligence. These are not words of any kind of leadership expert. These are the greatest words of the greatest leader of all, our noble Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wasallam. Ra'sul aql. The highest form of intelligence. Words of the Prophet alayhi salatu wasalam. After Iman. So again, time doesn't permit me, but the most important aspect of your intelligence is actually Iman. But he says after that, Ba'd al-Iman, the highest form of intelligence is what? Iman billah, by the way. So having knowledge of and having Iman with Allah. After that, what is the highest form of intelligence for people? He says, At-tawaddudu ila-nas. At-tawaddadu ila-nas. What a beautiful phrase in the Arabic language. The ulama have understood straight away. Tawaddad comes from the word wid. And wid is all about mahabba. Those of us who were at the Manchester Majlis last week, alhamdulillah, our guest speaker who's come from Pakistan for the first time, I believe, Pir Ajmal Qadri Sahib, he spent about 40 minutes speaking on the importance of mahabba. And in his speech, it basically illustrates what I wanted to say here. Again, the importance of, as Hazrat has said and gave numerous examples, the importance of relationships with other people. And those other people are often the very people around you. The very people around you. The nearest and dearest, often we ignore the most. The nearest and dearest, often we ignore the most. And I have to say, because Hazrat said that there are some very difficult things that we're going to have to hear and say from each other today. And one of the most difficult things that I'm going to have to say as someone who's been given responsibility, alhamdulillah, as part of the Milad committee. And I said this in a meeting, that look, you know what? It's coming up to 10 p.m. You know, when I left my house, my children were saying to me, Abu Jan, where are you going? My children are going to bed and I'm going to the masjid. That's just how it is. So I'm going to leave it at that for you to think about. رأس العقل بعد الإيمان بالله التودد إلى الناس. Having good relationships with people, having good interactions with people, having the ability to share love with people. That is the highest form of intelligence according to the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And emotional intelligence, EQ, which they're all harping on about at the moment, that is exactly what this hadith is saying. Tawaddud is all about empathy with others, understanding the importance and needs of others, understanding their emotions, and knowing how the other person is feeling and thinking. Hadrat Allama Qibla, Allama Muhammad Qari Ismail Sahib, Madallahu Dhillahul Ali, he understands very intelligently, emotionally as well, your needs and your desires, and so therefore at that I will take leave.